What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
I'm Brock, and we're going to continue through CPC 2107 with a couple special edition cards for our commissioners. We have Commissioners Omega and Morpheus, and Commissioner Grogan. Well, those focused right away that time. Probably because it's just black and white.
Yeah, I don't know. So I know Tom's doing, he attempted to do more things, to kind of expand the realm of the game
Mm-hmm.
with commissioners.
Right.
First one was Commissioner Carter, and then it went to Commissioner Grogan.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know if this Grogan does something else. Let me let me grab the my book.
Okay.
Keep hand. I didn't have to walk far.
Commissioner Grogan, who wrestled as the Mighty Grogan at the same time as Omega and Morpheus.
So I got Commissioner Carter in here, but not Commissioner Grogan.
Hmm. Check Mighty Grogan.
That's what I'm just looking up here. Um, Mighty Grogan's not in the book.
Really? Huh.
Meteor, Mike Fortune.
Wow. What about just under Grogan? Working.
Yep. Okay, there he is.
All right.
Holy. Okay, I'm not going to do a dramatic reading on him since he has literally almost 2 pages.
What?
That's kind of crazy. Yeah. So basically, he enters 2101 as he becomes commissioner. He steps down. He had a hardline stance on rule breakers,
Hmm.
but he he came back in once a group of seven came to power and effectively took over the commissioner's duty. Grogan stayed on as a talent scout.
Okay.
So the back of his card, I'm assuming he now has a back.
He does. He does.
Is he a hardliner against villains or is he
No, it
like
seems
a
like he
little?
just favors CPC wrestlers.
Oh, okay, same thing.
Yeah, and the on the wiki on the COTG online website, it says they accepted bribes by Magnus Colby in the CPC, eventually becoming their corrupt commissioner.
So just proving that everybody's got a price.
All right, so for suspensions, even rule, there's no suspension. Odd rule. For CPC wrestlers, one die to roll to see how long the suspension lasts. For GWF wrestlers, you roll two dice for suspensions. So that's a pretty good bias there. For title shots against CPC champions, 2 through 4, no title match granted. According to CPC rankings, the GWF wrestler is not the top contender. 5 or 6, fight a top CPC contender. If the GWF wrestler wins, he gets a shot. 7, it's up to you. You decide Commissioner Grogan's decision. 8 or 9, non-title match granted. If the GWF wrestler wins, he gets a title shot. And then 10 through 12, title match granted. It's a special match or it's not up to you. And then there's a list below of all the specialty matches you can rule.
Oh, okay.
So there's that.
So with that card, then I guess, see, I've always wanted to ask people this too on when they book. So if we ever get Jeff back on, because he's in the process of this right now with the
Hmm.
with the CPC coming in. Do you run two different feds inside the Fed, or do you run them parallel? Like how are people working this? I'm kind of curious.
I think how this worked was there were GWF arenas and CPC arenas. Whenever you were in a CPC arena, you used Grogan. If you were in a GWF arena, you used Omega and Morpheus.
Now, the Omega Morpheus, are they good guy, bad guy, or are they pro GWF and screw the CPC guys?
Um, they look pretty straightforward down the middle. Yeah, I don't see anything favoring one side or another on them. Doesn't even mention hero or villain on here at all, or
Okay.
CPC versus GWF either. So I think you only use this card if you're in a CPC arena, and then this is just your commissioner by committee, I guess, for the GWF. But I don't even see them like squabbling on here at all. Like you'd think them being such rivals in the ring that they really wouldn't get along and make decision making simple.
But I'm thinking if it's them coming together to fight a common enemy.
That's probably what it is. Let's see if there's any hints or clues here with the wiki here. I don't know if they mention it at all.
And
This,
both these are SE cards,
hmm
so they had to be bought separately. And
right. They didn't come with the set.
I don't know if I picked them up because I don't really use commissioner cards that much.
Hmm. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about why they teamed up. It just says that they became co-commissioners after Grogan's defection to the CPC. That's
And
probably what it was, though, like a common enemy kind of thing. Put
and
our
unlike,
differences aside.
you and Barry and a few other guys, I don't have the need or the urge to collect
You need them.
every card. I'm still bitter I didn't get my Akuma card from a Galacticon that I attended.
Bitter.
Oh, I'm bitter because it was colored,
It is color. It's a cool card too. I don't
so
have
I
it
don't
nearby,
get that
or
one.
I'd brag and gloat.
So that's the thing though about these cards. Um, I wonder how many people actually use commissioner cards
I never really did.
because technically you're the commissioner.
Right. I would make the like I'm looking at what you do on here. Like maybe for suspensions, but for title shots, I would always just say either
Yeah,
you don't get it or you do.
yeah. I think that's the only thing I did for them because
Hmm.
I use a point system for either you win and get points, you get a
Hmm.
title shot. If not, you don't get it.
Right.
Um, it'd be suspensions and fines and stuff like that. That's when I would use the commissioner.
Yeah.
Maybe on Grogan where you can go, okay, you have a random, you know, match.
They have the
Let's
they
do
have the random match too.
same order.
No, I think they're different matches altogether. Yeah, there's some overlap, but for the most part, they're totally different matches.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, do I use commissioner cards and do people really use commissioner cards?
Hmm. Yeah, let us know below how you use commissioners in your Fed. If it's just you, or if you rely on charts on these cards to make decisions, or other charts that you might have made, some homebrew stuff, or house rule things that you do. And
'Cause this is one thing that I've always been curious on is whether some of these cards do people use them? Like, I know we have regular viewers like Kevin Butcher and Pete Beck.
hmm.
You guys want and Miho, put your you know how you use them in
Yeah,
your bed.
I'd be interested in seeing because how do you do it every title match? Do you decide, or do you just have random guys come and say, "Hey, I want a title shot"? Then that's when you go to the chart to see if you know if it's granted or not.
Because you see it now a lot of, back growing up, uh, when I was, when I was watching wrestling, you didn't really have commissioners. The most you ever
No.
heard about it was Frank Tunney in the
Yeah,
WWF.
Jack Tunney.
Jack Tunney, yeah, sorry, yeah, Jack Tunney, and they eventually phased him out,
Hmm.
and then they would just start making, you know, random people the
Yeah,
boss.
Sergeant Slaughter was commissioner for a little while. Shawn Michaels, and it was brilliant until Vince became
Yeah,
a character.
and even then, no, I did like the random celebrity.
Yeah, that whole they did that for a whole year.
Yeah, it was pretty cool because I still remember what's his name, Sarah Michelle Gellar's husband,
Freddie Prinze
um,
Jr.
Freddie Prinze Jr. turned out to be a bad guy commissioner.
He worked for them for years after that, behind the scenes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. was on the creative team for a long time.
I when I saw him become heel, I was like, wow, I was shocked because usually,
Yeah.
the celebrities are all the good guys.
Hmm. One of my favorites was David Arquette when he did it because he's like you, Randy Orton. I'm a former world heavyweight champion, and he just got beat up.
So using these cards, I think it may just come down to preference whether you use them or not,
Hmm.
and your booking and playing style.
Yeah. I think how I might do this, I've thought about making an NDW for my bootleg Fed, like an NDW commissioner card. I might just list the house rules that I use on the back of it. Like if this is an NDW event, these are the house rules that are recognized as official rules for that Fed.
Okay.
Maybe that kind of thing instead of like leaving the championship match rulings and stuff like that. Like leave that. I like to settle that in a match. I've been using the championship eliminator a lot. That's something I stole from AEW where you fight the champion. If you beat them, you get a title shot. But if you lose, you can't challenge them ever for the title as long as that person is the champion.
Oh,
So it's like do you risk it, or not? I think that's a cool way to do it.
yeah, because seeing all these different commissioner cards, like you even have a Commissioner Guile at this point in time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of commissioner cards, and they're all pretty similar too.
Like even I think the second commissioner card ever created was the NGO
Yeah, Paulie.
Commissioner Paulie,
It's a good
and
card.
and
He took bribes. He,
yeah, he was definitely the shadiest of the commissioner cards at that point.
which I
I
love.
think I think Tim and Chad worked on that one just to make it so he was as underhanded and as you can get for an
Yeah.
invasion angle.
Hmm.
But like I said, they can add a lot of I would say not a lot of flair, but they can add some twists and turns.
Yeah, depending on how much you use them.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot you can do. I think I might do that like a house rules. Like, here's some house rules. I was actually thinking about because I did a brand split recently on my streaming fed. There's two separate companies within it now. And I was gonna try and just do like little tweaks to make them feel like a different production.
Yeah.
Like I had last night, I had a guy who was injured and he was in a tournament, but he was still going to compete in the tournament. And I had the rolling body just shut it down. Like, nope, you're not cleared. You need to go. And then they replaced him in the tournament. So that might later on like create a storyline like, well, I would have won that if you let me compete, kind of thing. Because it was just a minor injury. It was a one card injury. So it would have had very minimal effects on his card
Yeah.
through the chart and the ringside companion. But I just had it's like he's injured. Nope, he's we're not he's not we're not going to have that liability here kind of thing.
Yeah, because you could add almost anything to the back of those commissioner cards.
Hmm.
Title defenses, feuds.
Yeah, because even now, suspensions are listed right on the current feud table.
Yeah,
So like that's been taken away from the commissioner cards with that, with that current chart. So
yeah. It's just one of those things where I think really hardcore players might use them.
hmm.
You guys who follow the rules strictly.
Yeah.
So I got a feeling. Yeah, you're going to see Pete Beck, and I think even Jeff would probably use them.
Hmm. Hmm.
Use your commissioners in dealing with your split.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, I don't own these cards. I probably never will. I don't even know if they're still available.
Probably not. I don't
Because
think
the
there's
L
much left of the black and white stuff on
no,
either side of the game.
and the SEs were all just that. They were limited editions.
Hmm. I feel
So
like when you bought these at Galacticon, though, they just kind of were there with them.
yeah,
I don't know. I
and I
bought
think they were
so.
only like Tom probably only charged like $1 each or
Oh
two
yeah, they were
dollars
definitely
each, and
cheap back in the day. The black and white.
$2 each or three for two or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah, I used to love the bulk deals that they had back then.
Oh, jeez.
The more you buy, the more you save. And like the Galacticon deals were even better.
That's because Tom lived across the road.
Yeah. Anything else you need? Huh? Like, oh yeah, I was wondering, do you have any copies of this? Yeah, I'll go grab it for you.
Like I think they were only like $10 a set. That's what
Yeah,
you
or not even. They were
that
about $1 a card, I think,
no
if
no.
that.
Well, I mean when I'd buy a set there.
Hmm.
That's why I saved up and only buy my sets there because Tom
I
would
did
charge
that.
me $10 a set
I did that a while too.
because there'd be no shipping and handling on his part.
Right, right. No mailing fees, no, whatever. Yeah.
So those were the good old
Yeah,
days.
we like I said, when we first I've talked about this before because we went head first into the whole thing. We went to Galacticon after playing the game for about a month because I got it for my dad for Father's Day, and then that next month we're at Galacticon, and then we did the whole we bought everything that they had available at that time, and we got a pretty good deal on it. And then the whole ride home, 3 hour ride home, I'm just flipping through all these cards, getting excited.
Yeah.
So that's why I have no history because I tried to hurry up and play all these cards to get through them all.
And I played 18 years in.
Because I think this was the set that was released at that Galacticon I went to, my first one. Well, no, this is
Was it
98, so it would have been the set that came out in 97, the one we just talked about last time. 21,
2106?
yeah, 2106. 'Cause this is when they were doing two a year still, I think, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got 30 years worth of cards in one day. Just about. No, 20 years worth of cards, plus all the classics and bash sets that were available up to that point. I'd already had most of the special edition cards because I just thought they were just random cards you can add to your Fed, hence why I ended up with Comrade Terror and Dreadnought as a tag team. Because they didn't have a card year, so because you remember you used to get that, it's just
Yep.
one sheet of paper, front and back. And it would just have special edition cards, and it would just have the names listed. And you just check the ones. They didn't tell you what year they were supposed to be used
No.
if you were a newbie.
And then you'd have things like Birthday Bash thrown in and
Hmm. Then Dimension X, where they can come in, there's each card is like represented by a different year.
yep.
Yeah, and I still kind of feel like it's that way for new fans, where they don't really tell you what you're supposed to do. You have to kind of figure it out. I think
Kind
maybe
of
that's why Legends is so popular because you could really like who these guys are. So,
yeah. And you can move them in and out and
hmm.
it's a booking thing. It's all up to you, really.
Right, right.
I don't in Legends. I don't know if there's any commissioners.
There has to be at this point. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but
Sure
there
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 is.
has to be. Teddy Long. Teddy Long has a commissioner card.
Does he?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is it just a manager card?
I'm pretty sure it's a commissioner card because I think it has the joke on there about making it a tag team match, playa.
Very well could be then.
Yeah, I think he has one. I'm pretty sure that's a commissioner card, and there probably is some others too. I'm just not thinking of it off the top of my head
But
because I don't actively play Legends right now.
I was listening to Uncharted Territories, and they had uh, the, the one of the more recent ones. A little was when they talked about old newsletters.
Hmm.
So they were talking about Galacticon #2, and
Okay.
there was a thing called the Blood and Guts Tournament,
Ooh.
where you could make a tag team of anybody in the game
Okay.
and put them in this tournament. But if you weren't a real tag team, then you didn't get to tag out.
Okay.
And so I won the tournament because I picked Battering Ram and Incredible Badger.
Okay.
I was literally the only guy who picked pretty much picked a tag team.
And they're made to work so well together too.
And I think I beat Chaos and Alpha Force in the finals because I can't remember the card,
Hmm.
but because neither of those guys could tag out. I was just tag, 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 tag,
It
tag,
makes a
tag.
difference. It makes a
Oh yeah.
difference.
But for a Mount Rushmore, if you could make, so you make your four teams and then one uh what do you call it? The the fifth, the little statue thing at the base,
The
the
honorable mention.
honorable mention. So you can have done it in your Fed,
Okay.
or so you could have your Dreadnought and Comrade
Well,
Terror.
they're definitely going to be on my list.
But who would be your guys from any group?
Any group, any cards of any GWF guy, any Filsinger Games character, fantasy character ever.
Yeah, to make
Okay.
tag teams. You can keep a regular tag team, or you could mix them up.
Okay.
Who would you have? I'll go first,
All
so
right.
give you some time to think.
How many are we putting together?
Put together four in an honorable mention.
Okay.
So my first one's going to be, and I got this idea from Paul Barnes, and I used it, and they were a great tag team. Massive and Pulsar Prime.
Okay.
That would be one. I called them Power and Glory.
All right.
Uh, this other one I thought about when uh, you, Jeff, and myself, we did that. We made a random Fed.
Mm-hmm.
We did the draft,
Yeah, yeah. That we never did anything with.
and but it got me thinking. What about if I would have made a tag team of Massive and Lord Nexus?
Hmm. That could be fun. You got the quick high flyer and the big guy.
Yeah, and Lord Nexus had all the tags, Massive had all the names.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that might have been fun to try.
Okay.
Then another tag team uh, would have been U.S. Patriot, the good one, the,
Mm-hmm.
the third card,
Yeah, yeah.
and Commander Sam's first card, where he's the gruff veteran from like
Mm-hmm.
2079.
Okay.
Now I use that tag team because somebody, and I can't remember who, made it, and they called him Son of Sam.
Mm-hmm. I remember we talked about that.
Yeah,
We ever
so
we never got to the bottom of that, did we? We thought it was Kevin, and he said that he didn't think it was him.
yeah, and I think he said it was Tim Dalton,
Okay.
but I currently use that, and they've won my GWF tag team. So that's a tag team I put together, and I'm like, yeah, they're a pretty decent tag team.
Mm-hmm.
My fourth mixed tag team that I made up, Mace and Jack of Diamonds.
Okay. Yeah, you talked about that here.
They they just blew my mind on how well they work together as a tag team. They just had another big win for me on one of my cards I wrestled a couple days ago, and they won in it. It wasn't even close. Like they just dominated. I think it was Dorado Sundown, Black Lash and Bullwhip.
That's a tough team.
Yeah, and they just dominated them. And my honorable mention, I'm going to go with a low level team,
Okay.
but they were fun to use. Mutant and Toxin. They won my Milky Way tag titles, which is my lowest level tag titles in my UWA Fed.
Hmm.
Toxin was the brains of the group.
You're
But
in trouble.
I threw them together because they were both kind of mutant looking type
Hmm.
guys, and they were
Yeah.
outcasts, and they formed a group together, and yeah, they did pretty decent, but they were just fun to use, and they upset some people and captured the tag title, and I was like, it's the weirdest tag team I've ever had, but it worked for how long I kept it together, which is roughly a year.
Okay.
But I still remember them. They were fun to use.
I teamed up Thantos and Omega, their 2087 cards, as the Legends of Wrestling. That was one of the first off the script things I did. And they worked pretty well together because Thantos was just Thantos then.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, I'm gonna say that as my honorable mention. I'll keep that until the end. I did Thunder and Lightning together. Thunder's manager card, like his bodyguard card, so he wasn't good Thunder yet. So
Oh, okay.
him and Lightning together. I called him Thunder and Lightning.
I did something similar. I think I talked about it the one time I used Mayhem, and
Hmm.
I have a tag team tournament where I just pick all the random people and you get mixed with someone.
Hmm.
And I did Lightning and Mayhem,
Electric Mayhem.
and I called it Electric Mayhem from uh,
Muppets.
the Muppets. And I made it where Mayhem became friends with Lightning,
Uh-huh.
and he refused to fight him. He wouldn't go in a ring against him.
Nice.
They became like a weird little buddy combo.
That's cool. I mean, when there was a guy, Thunder and Lightning, you know where I'm gonna go with that.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to think of some other ones that I actually did. I used that. Do you have the Pete Beck card that was the Kickstarter exclusive that Pete hands him out at Galacticon? I count that as an official card because it was
it's
published by Filsinger Games. I
it's
teamed that with the
Colonel Pete.
yes, or is he Major Pete? I think he didn't get a Colonel upgrade yet.
Oh, okay, yeah, so he's Major Pete.
He's
Yep.
Major Pete. I team him with the 30th anniversary like alternate reality Commander Sam, the superhero looking one.
Yep.
They're the forget what I called them, but I made them a team like a US team because I love that Pete Beck card. It's just fun. I'm glad I have it. Um, so that's three. I gotta put my boy Bobby or Billy Joe Boxer with KO Keller.
Yeah, I did that. I called him Fight Club.
There you go. I'll just call him Knockout. Even though they never competed at the same time. We'll put them together.
I had them compete, and they won my Intergalaxian tag titles.
And then you know my honorable mention,
Yep.
the greatest tag team of all time, Dreadnought and Comrade Terror, former GWF tag team champions in my Fed until Steve Mitchkoff smartened me up.
So Steve Minzgov ruined my Fed.
He's like, "What are you doing?" Like to his credit, I mean, I'm this kid. He talked to me for hours and just like gave me ideas and told me what I was doing wrong and taught me how to use the choice charts correctly and all of that.
Yeah. Well, I remember back in those days, nobody used the choice charts. Well, I would say nobody. I remember in the early, probably, 1 through 5, I think Rob Nadon and myself were the only ones who used it correctly, and we used it to our advantage constantly. And people were like, CH, no, I'm not going to use that because it's a 2. I'm like, well, I'm going to use it because, I have this role where you're a +2 agility. I have an 8, 10 or under. I put you down instead
Yeah.
of just a straight 2 maneuver.
I think that's one of the few things that actually adds some strategy to the game is the choice chart.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine playing without it now.
No,
Otherwise, it's just rolling two dice, seeing what happens. Which it still kind of is, but there's that adds that little element of chance and strategy to it.
you see me distracted. I keep checking my phone because St. Louis is playing Winnipeg and they're going for their 13th straight win,
Ooh.
but they're down 2-1 with 25 seconds left. So I'm like,
Did the Penguins still have the record for most consecutive wins?
I don't think they had a record at all for most
I
consecutive wins.
thought they did. Let's look that up.
I thought it was like Montreal Canadiens because they Montreal Canadiens had the best record for one loss in NHL history.
Let's see. The Pittsburgh Penguins, 1992 to 93, 17 consecutive wins.
Oh, oh,
They were
nope. Winnipeg got an empty net goal. It's over.
ah.
17 consecutive. That's pretty good.
hmm I thought they held that record still. That 92-93 season, they were amazing.
That's before Sidney Crosby.
It was. That was the Lemieux era. The peak Lemieux era. Lemieux Yager. Anyway.
Yep.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And while you're here, scroll on down to the description where you'll find all of our friends who make Filsinger Games related content, including the official Filsinger Games podcast roll up, the Legends team's Uncharted Territory, Dizzy Dice from Lee Longpre, solo promoter from Grant Pachoco. Grant is also here on YouTube. Sorry. Also, you'll find Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling. Brad plays 81, Bucky 749, and after further review. Also, I'm back on Twitch Sunday nights for now. Might add another day here eventually, but we're just doing Sunday nights now at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to watch my bootleg fed live and get involved in that action, check that out on Sundays on Twitch. And until next time, everybody, have a great week.
Night all.
Later.